Ok, thank you.
Non c'hai scritto più grosso?
No, è questo qua.
Ok. Fatto lei, Vabbè,
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to this press conference following the military chord meeting conference here in Riga. My name is Giovanni Galofora. I'm the Public Affairs and Statute Advisor of the Chairman of the NATO Military Committee. And we will have the Chair of the Military Committee, followed by the Latvian chord, addressing you with the initial statement, and then we will open the floor for question and answer. Please switch off your mobile, and when then addressing for questions, please remember to say your name and your agency. Thank you very much. The floor to the Chairman.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here, and many thanks to our host, the beautiful Riga, for its warm hospitality, starting by the one of my dear friend, Major General Pudāns, Chief of Defense, Latvia. Dear Kaspar, this successful military committee conference could have not been held at a better time or place. Our presence here in the Baltics is an unmistakable signal of NATO's cohesion and solidarity toward our fellow allies in the eastern flank. We stand by your side day and night. It is also vivid proof of our full resolve against those who want to challenge us or even divide us. Let me commend once again the Allied forces and SECURE for their swift interception and action during the recent continued violation of our airspace. Russian aircraft and drones, on top of the already existing measures, will now find the resolute response of the newly established and already operational Eastern Sentry activity, which further strengthen NATO's ability to react quickly and decisively against this kind of reckless behavior. These events illustrate our readiness to swiftly reinforce any ally that comes under threat. Let me be even more clear. Every threat to NATO's air, land, and sea space will be dealt with a resolute and proportionate response. We are ready. There must be no doubt about it. Our Supreme Allied Commander has all the tools he needs, and we do not seek confrontation, but we will not hesitate to undertake any action deemed necessary for our collective defense. Fortifying our eastern flank complements also with our unwavering support for Ukraine. Let me take this opportunity to praise once more the professionalism and determination of the brave soldier of Ukraine, as well as the whole population that is supporting Kyiv's legitimate rights to defend their land. Their fight is our fight, and together with them, we are also learning lessons that are helping a number of allies improving our deterrence, focusing urgent investment in defense, starting from new technologies, but also sensors, weapons, kinetic and non-kinetic tools. Because now, and not later, is the moment to reflect on how much the alliance has achieved or must achieve without delay. This year, all allies are expected to meet or exceed the pre-summit target of investing at last 2% of GDP in defense. But the historic decision taken by allied leaders at the summit in The Hague go even further. There is now a clear commitment to invest 5% of GDP annually on core defense requirement and defense and security-related investment by 2035. Today, the NATO Military Committee, made of the highest military authorities in NATO and the allies, discussed the way forward on this and other summit declarations. Let me share a few highlights. In relation to the implementation of the summit decisions, we confirm that we stand at a crucial point of the enablement path, starting from our action plan to integrate the new defense investment commitment into our regional plans. The good news is that results are already being delivered. The ongoing progress is placing NATO allies in the optimal position to better deter and defend against the alliance's main and future threats in a multi-domain environment. Furthermore, we concurred that the expansion of our transatlantic defense industrial cooperation will help harness emerging technology and promote innovation. We also reiterated our priority about protecting our critical infrastructure and defending our network against destabilizing and hybrid activities, including the cyber attacks targeting airports, as we are continuously experiencing. That said, it is paramount to stress that these, among others, are challenges the military cannot tackle in isolation. It is mandatory that we bolster our civil preparedness to improve the individual and collective capacity to better respond and recover from potential shock and disruptions. This is what we call a whole-of-society approach to security, based on a shared, solid culture of defense. Ladies and gentlemen, I conclude by saying that this has been, without doubt, a momentous conference. Many takeaways and action items, all linked by one leitmotif: stronger together, now. And let me thank again all the Allied Chief of Defense, SACEUR and SACT, who make sure our unity remains our biggest strength. Kaspar, brother, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Admiral. Thank you for your kind words and thoughtful words, and particularly for guiding today's discussions with focus and purpose. It was both an honor and a privilege for our armed forces of Latvia to host this year's NATO Military Committee conference here in Riga. Your presence here is not only our shared commitment to collective security, but also the unity of our alliance. The Russian Federation has been deliberately violating NATO airspace over the past few weeks. Despite being concerning, these actions are neither new nor isolated. They are part of a wider campaign of intimidation and aggression that seeks to destabilize the region, test our unity, and challenge the credibility of deterrence. To be clear, NATO and the NATO Latvia are prepared to defend every single centimeter of NATO territory. Our national and regional defense plans are structured around the principle of fight tonight, now, as the chairman mentioned. While we hope for peace, we prepare for war, because preparation is the surest path to readiness. To that end, Latvia has made substantial progress towards strengthening our military capabilities. We have ongoing procurements and deliveries of advanced medium-range air defense system, coastal defense missiles, and modern rocket artillery. These additions mark a decisive step towards enhancing both our national defense and our contributions to the collective strength of the alliance. Moreover, Latvia has positioned itself as one of the frontrunners in the development and integration of autonomous systems and drone technologies. In today's rapidly evolving battle space, these tools are no longer optional. They serve as critical enablers of combined arms operations, offering enhanced situation awareness, precision engagement, and operational flexibility. We are also in the process of implementing a layered air defense system, a comprehensive network designed to detect, track, and neutralize hostile multiple forms of detection and interception, creating a robust shield over our territory and our people. Our decisions are grounded in reality. We know that these actions work, because this is precisely what Ukraine has done in their heroic defense against Russian occupation. Ukraine's resilience, innovation, and tactical adaptation has inspired many of us. Latvia will continue to support Ukraine and its defenders in their just and sovereign struggle. As you all heard from Chairman, Russia continues to actively challenge the peace and security of the Euro-Atlantic area and beyond. Its provocations, whether it's through violations of airspace, cyber attacks, or disinformation campaigns are all deliberate tests of our resolve. Such provocations demand a swift, coordinated, and strategic response. We must continue to strengthen our defense capabilities across land, sea, and air. The credibility of our deterrence lies in our readiness to act decisively across the full spectrum of threats. In response, NATO Eastern Sentry is testament to our collective understanding of these threats and our willingness to meet them head-on. It is a framework that enhances our defensive posture, deepens our cooperation among allies, and sends a clear signal to any adversary that NATO stands united. In concluding, I extend my sincere gratitude to every participant into today's discussion. This conference is reaffirmation of our common purpose, a platform for strategic alignment, and a symbol of steadfast determination to defend the peace and prosperity of our nations. Thank you.
Admiral, General, thank you very much. And now the floor is open for questions. Yes, please. Your name and agency, please.
Aaron Eglitis, Bloomberg News. A question to the Admiral. Given the airspace violations we've seen in Eastern Europe, should we expect the air policing mission to change to an air defense mission in the Baltic states?
Well, considering that these events are pretty recent, I mean, all of them are still going into investigation. And of course, we need also to a fundamental point, which is attribution of what happened. Is still, I would say, still premature to try to assess and go so further. I mean, this could be an option, depending on what will be the final assessment on what is trying to be investigated right now. I would say that this could be one of the options, but not the option.
Patrick?
Thanks, Patrick Tucker from Defense One. Are there, as a result of today's meetings and previous discussions, can you go into any details about additional capabilities that might come from elsewhere, other countries, here to the eastern flank to aid in a air defense or air policing mission as part of Eastern Sentry?
Can you say it again, because I
what are the, can you speak to any additional capabilities, pieces of equipment, jets, et cetera, that might come from other NATO members here to the eastern flank as part of Eastern Sentry or a broader air policing or air defense mission?
Well, just consider Eastern Sentry is just a brand new operation, which is pretty much following the Baltic Sentry architecture. It is aimed to be first of all, to coordinate all the air policing mission that we are having in this area. So it will be a coordination operation first, and then it will aim to have, I mean, all the eastern and northern flank covered, I mean, protected, with the principal characteristic to be flexible, so to have the whole architecture ready in place and just be able to move wherever it is necessary this or that kind of assets. And again, it's a multi-domain operation which is involving land and air activities, and if we go up further to north, it could be also maritime activities too, just totally integrated in protecting, let's say, 3,500 kilometers of borderline, and that's basically it. It is a growing activity right now. We will have more asset compared to what we had before, but again, the idea is this one: to have flexibility and capability to just move the position of all the assets in the more appropriate way wherever it is necessary, but covering the whole front line. Let's call it this way.
I'll have a follow-up after.
Yes, my name is Yuri Skaja. I represent the Spanish news agency EFI, and I have two questions. One I think is rather simple. The other one may be a bit difficult.
So you take the another one. I take the simple one. No.
the polls, or the media are reporting that Poland is sort of saying that we will take down any undesirable flying objects in our territory. We're not going to ask NATO for permission. Does NATO have a unified protocol or policy on rules of engagement in such situations? And did you discuss that? That is my sort of first question. The difficult question is, what you have here, you have all of the top military commanders in NATO in one place, and that happens a couple of times a year, as I understand it, and that's nothing unusual. Next week, the entire military command, global military command structure of the United States is going to gather in one military base in Virginia, I believe, and nobody really knows what that's all about. Are you in some way a bit concerned, or do you know anything about it, or worried? I mean, what's going to happen?
I'm sorry, worry about that? What? I'm sorry?
About the meeting of all of the top American commanders in Quantico, Virginia, next week. That I believe he prefers to be called the Secretary of War, has summoned to the U.S. from all over the world. I mean, including probably some of the gentlemen and ladies who are here.
Yeah. Okay, first question is about ROEs, I mean, rules of engagement. I mean, NATO has rules of engagement. NATO is, I mean, SACEUR, which is the Supreme Allied Commander, has all the tools to face any kind of a threat it can happen. I mean, and the reaction, any kind of reaction is judged upon, I mean, what kind of threat is posed. I mean, could be interception, could be just accompany them out of the space, which is something which has been pretty common and happened pretty often. And as far as I remember, when I was shot, again, it was something that happened, some airspace violation, and then intercept, and then just lead them out of our airspace. And that's one action. But again, if they pose a danger, a threat to the alliance, I mean, SACEUR has the whole availability of a proportionate response to take. So, I mean, as far as ROE, we are set, and ROE are kind of a living tool that can evolve as far as the threat is changing in getting, I mean, more, let's say, reactive or less reactive, depending on how is the threat and what we assess the threat is. And the assessment goes up to the pilot. For example, just let me take for example a drone. Whenever they decide to shut it down with the appropriate chain of clearance, they also, for example, take into consideration what is down, what the debris could cause. It's just part of the process of decision making, which goes from the Supreme Allied Commander up to the pilot in flight. That's basically it. As far as the reunion, well, it's a kind of new. As far as in my 49 years of service, I have never seen that before. But it's probably something that a message that the Secretary of Defense will convey to the top brass, and we will know about that right after it happened. But it's unusual, of course, never done before as far as I remember, but it is in his prerogatives, in his responsibilities and authority to do this. We'll see. Yep. Okay, yep.
Thank you, Patrick Tucker again with Defense One. Understanding that this is not yet a policy decision that has been announced or perhaps even made, but among the NATO Military Committee, is there a plan, a known plan among all of the NATO members in the event that the United States were to draw down forces that are stationed in Europe?
Okay, this is something that has been discussed a lot. First of all, we have in different, multiple situations guarantee that NATO, that U.S. cares about NATO, and they will not leave NATO alone. But NATO is a military alliance, is a defensive, political military alliance. let's assume that one of the allies, the bigger one, needs to reorient some of his energies from some other direction in which he supposes that threat is coming. First of all, the further away you intercept the crisis, the better it is for the alliance, of course. So let's assume that it is from the Indo-Pacific, okay. And so we will witness a partial disengagement, but not to leave NATO alone, to just face other threats, which have impact on NATO too, by the way, with the connection we do have on today's geopolitical situation. So nothing wrong. I mean, the alliance, if it is a mature and strong alliance that, like we are after 76 years, we are going to fill the gap and just reshuffle everything and just make it happen. The thing is that, and if it will happen, it will be in a coordinated way. I mean, and we will do that together just to rebalance everything in the most efficient and effective way. But that's normal for an alliance. And if that's going to happen, I mean, we're gonna work that out and face it like a big man.
So to reiterate, you know how each NATO member knows how they would present new capabilities and work to fill that gap in the event that there were a partial but still participatory.
Yeah, we will be able to handle that up to the point in which that if this will be done smoothly and coordinated, that's part of the game, and we were gonna face it and solve it.
That's one of the Lithuanian general. The NATO Center for Strategic Excellence is here in Riga, works on information campaigns. Can you comment at all on what you are anticipating in terms of adversarial disinformation, particularly in the coming months and particularly around the Moldovan election, or just here across the Baltic states in general?
The disinformation mean?
Disinformation, yes.
Yeah, it's something, okay, it's for Kaspars.
No, either of you, please.
Do it, please.
For me, but you will have a chance to comment. But I think this is something not new in this area, and this is something I addressed in my introductory notes, that attempts to disinformation and bringing some uncertainty into our society, particularly dividing our society from us, from institutions, state institutions, probably undermining our capabilities, something we're seeing years already along. Of course, it's sometimes peaks up and downs depending on the situations or current events, particularly if we are announcing some new support to Ukraine or some new initiatives, we might see some increase in these activities, particularly focusing, because it's a cheap way how to achieve some effects, and we can expect that it will continue. But this is something we have been paid a lot of attention. This center, for example, is for this, that we can timely monitor, identify these potential risks, prepare contingency plans, how to tackle them, where we should react, where we probably just ignore these messages, but mainly to safeguard our unity, our cohesion, because this is what this information is, disinformation campaigns is, to sow the division between us. These boundaries, what is on the maps between our countries, in our legislations, in our traditions, is the most vulnerable places. But through the organization, through planning, we dissolving these boundaries into our military operations, but also our societies needs to be much more integrated. And I think we spoke also a lot about resilience of our societies. And this is one part, being resilient against disinformation. And that's what we need to train all into this area.
We have time for, yes, please, in the back.
Andrisidas, Reuters. I have a question to Admiral Dragone. It's about the European Union wall of drones idea. Is it wise for the European Union to undertake a project like this, the drone wall, or should it be a project of NATO? And more generally, what is needed to protect Europe from drones, from drone incursions?
I go?
It was for you now.
Yeah.
Can take it as well.
We are working on counter UAS evolution with our Supreme Allied Commander for Transformation in Norfolk, going through all the availability and all the possibility that we can have to face this kind of a threat. Of course, we have been doing our job with the F-35, with the F-18, and with something else. But you know, of course, we are striving for something which is, I mean, balanced compared to the threat. I mean, cost effective. And the wall drone, I'm not very familiar with that, but we are working within the alliance and with the partners, and the European Union is one of the partners. So the study we are doing, I mean, the study that the Supreme Allied Commander for Transformation is doing to give the alliance a reliable, affordable, effective system is taking into consideration also European Union. Also because consider that European Union has a pretty good leverage and grasp on the industry, on European industry, so that could be a key point in having everybody involved in finding this kind of solution. So basically we are working, they are working, SACT is working with them, and I think we will find a solution which would be beneficial for all of us. I mean, also because if they take into consideration the NATO eastern flank is pretty much the same that the European Union eastern flank. I mean, we are gonna have a beneficial effect together.
Yuris, you have another question? Yep. Please.
Yeah, my question is to Major General Pudāns. The media have been reporting, we reported it first already in June, and now the Daily Telegraph picked it up, is that the Estonians are willing to have nuclear-capable F-35s stationed there. Do you, as the head of the armed forces, have a position on whether that would be a good thing to also have nuclear-capable aircraft stationed in Latvia?
All our capabilities, what we're developing, is very much focused on being able to host allied troops wherever it's needed into our defense plans or deterrence requirements. Our capability stands there that it is available also for these type of jets being landed here. I think it will bring, of course, quite credible and robust deterrent signal and reassuring signal for our societies. Tactically, we still base or operationally base our advice, collectively made advice, on seeing where these kind of assets to be deployed. But from the perspective of reassurance or signaling, that was one of topics over these last couple weeks, and also previously when we are most voicely advocated for increasing our air policing options and increasing our deterrence. And of course, Eastern Sentry is something we will have these assets deployed in a region and will be ready to host. Either it's nuclear capable or others, if multi-role, it's most what we need here to demonstrate our resolve. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending this press conference. This concludes this meeting, and see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.